What's up, Screen Fiend fans? What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's get into it. Now, Rebel Moon 2, the Scargiver. Put a scar on you. Now, first of all, Netflix did a horrible job in promoting this. Not like they did the first one. So, because the movie was split into two parts when they filmed it, this seemed like, okay, let's see what it is in the first one. In the first movie, I felt held more weight than the second film. The second film is like the bow waste of the first one. The characters that stood out the most and meant something in the first film, by the second film, they're like cast aside and they're just like dulled down. And you don't really care about these characters. They're supposed to be like this super group that they put together and recruited as they went around and grabbing people to help them fight and to defend these farmers from their land and whatever. So now you have like a couple of days so that these farmers can learn to stand and fight and protect their families. Now, being steadfast in this, if you didn't see the first one, we're going to spoil it for you. So click off now if you didn't see the first one and don't care to hear about the second. It's some people that still didn't see the first and be like, I don't care. Go ahead. So anyway, in the first one, the main villain of the whole series, he apparently dies, but he's some sort of android, half human type thing. You find out at the end. They put some red and blue electronical stuff in him and bring him back. He still has his mental capacity. I mean, everything. Now, I'm trying to see how can I do this without spoiling the second act. So he survives. Now, they think you have to go back, so you have weeks to prepare when a general dies. But since he didn't die, he's back giving commands. They're approaching and they're coming within days. So they're trying to teach these guys how to prepare, how to get ready for war, how to protect their village. So they said, we got to get as much grain as possible. So what they were coming to get was grain, food. They needed to have it as a resource to keep them going. So they had to complete the first order of grain. So they went in, man, they cropped as much grain as possible. And they said, well, put the grain up there in front of the places they can't risk destroying that grain. They need it. So that'll protect us. So the grain was going to be used as a shield to protect some of the buildings there. As they stage for a war and they strategize to go and attack the war. Then this stoic female warrior, who this one farmer just happens to be in love with, breaks down and tells her he's in love. Why? I have no idea. Then all of a sudden, now she feels like giving him some. So now she's back in love with another guy, and she slept with him the whole nine, which made no sense whatsoever. It felt so out of place. Now, going into the rest of the film, it's like a cluster. You're stuck in a conundrum of what am I watching here? They have forgotten so much from the first film that they take the cheap route in this film to explain things. Everybody's sitting at the round table and they're going over, okay, what happened to you? What's your story? What's your story? What's your story? And that's done enough for the constructive time. So you learn what happened to this one Asian lady warrior who you knew from the first part was a woman who had lost her child, couldn't protect her child, and she was out, and that's why she was so sensitive to protecting children. That's all it was needed. Her arc was already told. We didn't need a backstory. A lot of these people didn't need a backstory. Then the guy who did the scene that broke the bird and got him to fly the bird and everything else. Once he did that, he became a character of interest. This film, he's barely in it. He's like such a minimal character. He's such in the background. It doesn't even make sense. So they come there prepared for war. They bring another dreadnought there. They show up. The general's there to show her the scar, like he said he was going to do. I'm going to show her my scar. So then he goes and shows the scar. But the boyfriend, they told her, look, you come with us. We let these people live. And the boyfriend's like, I don't believe him. That's it. It's done. Don't hammer the bell. We're not ready going to war. The boyfriend takes her gun, shoots that bell, bish, ding, and set it off. He's not going to trust this guy after he saw from the very first film what happened to the first guy who trusted him. And he, being someone who was a negotiator, thought that he could negotiate with this man. And saw what he did and with his mercy and everything else, that he is not merciful. So he said to F that. Attack! So they attacked. It was all war, broke out. Soon as the war went down, this when it becomes even a bigger mess. As the rest of this part is all war. And you just seeing lasers come in slow motion with all this smoke, gray smoke everywhere. And you're trying to make stuff out through the smoke. And you just see it. And you're trying to follow the arc of some of these characters that you know nothing about. As the farmers try to fight to help to protect, and some cowardly staying behind and want to be protected by these people. Um, this is a colluded mess. This one, I give it no, 1.5 stars. I give it 1.5 out of 4 stars. Could have been much better. And they tease a continuation of the series. It's not filmed, of course, but then they tease that something that seemed absolute in the film, in the second film, they tell you, and the guy's sitting there like this whole time and was like, "You thought that was it? No, that didn't happen. This happened." And that reminds me a lot of the Black Widow movie. It's a scene that happened in Black Widow with Scarlett Johansson and her character, and what happens with her character after doing a mission, which I thought brought a lot of gravity to the situation. Something similar like that happens in this film, but things change. Things went in a direction that did not align with anything. See what I'm saying? When you look at a scenario in which things are not aligning as they're playing out, it becomes a bigger problem down the line because you have all of these other elements that are in the game. They're basically being held hostage to the ideals of that premise. The character's arc is built off that. Now, when you don't have the character's arc building off that, and you take that pain away, like they did in Black Widow, it's like, oh, okay, now she's released from it when it was the source of her being the way she was and why she was the way she was. So now this is going to be a different story altogether. Now it brings a curiosity as to what? How? But then you just saw what happened with the general, and now you're like, okay, now I'm really confused. So Rebel Moon, Rebel Moon, part two, the Scargiver. Well, she was looked at as the Scargiver because she was a warmonger who led armies to destroy worlds, and whatever was left over, they were scarred forever. So when she comes, she was the Scargiver. Yeah, I know, right? So don't forget to subscribe, join the memberships. Um, I thank all of you for the support of the page. Really do. And been so effing patient with me with Screen Fiend. There's just 24 hours in a day, and it takes a lot to do this. So not this page, but my other stuff mixed in with this takes a lot. So for me to find 15 minutes out of the day to dedicate to you guys, you all deserve it. Appreciate you. Thank you, and hit the like button, please.